Hello and welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Matt, that's Christy, that's Alonzo. You want to watch a black and white movie about people going crazy in a really, really amazing way that will melt your brain. Go see The Lighthouse. We're going to talk about that because I think we all really dug it.
Do you want to describe it?
Sure. So The Lighthouse is about two guys, Wickman, played by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. We see at the beginning of the movie, they head out to this little island off the coast of New England with a lighthouse and a foghorn, and they're going to be there for 4 months. And, you know, they're going to be in close quarters, and Willem Dafoe is kind of the gruff old salt, and there's an air of maybe some mystery and a little curiosity to Robert Pattinson's character. We don't get their names till far into the movie, and things start to go a little. You start to wonder: are people hallucinating? Are they? Are we getting reliable narration? Not that there's narration, but as they get closer and closer together and stay more and more with each other, it gets weirder and weirder and more tense and more emotional and more insane.
We should mention the fact that this was shot in black and white. It's exquisitely in black and white. And it is not an aspect ratio. It's not an Academy ratio.
It's 1.19,
yes,
I think, which is smaller than Academy ratio.
I heard you on the radio talking about it.
Did you? Thank you. It's like because Wade got it wrong. I'm like, ooh, I know something about movies that Wade does not.
Yeah,
so,
it's nearly square.
Yes, I could hear the glee in your voice as you were correcting.
I know so little about things, but this is a thing I happen to look up.
And both the black and white cinematography and the sort of the nearly square aspect ratio really play up the claustrophobia.
Put you on edge.
The sound, the music, and the sound. In
this is from the director of The Witch, and Robert Eggers, and so this is it's less movie than it is atmosphere in terms of it's more of an experience of just being in this space with these people with these noises than it is a narrative film, I would say.
Well, I would argue that there is definitely an evolution to it. That there is an arc for everybody involved.
I'm not saying
it is not static.
No. And I'm not saying there's not a story, but there is an element of it to me that just sort of felt like I had to kind of downshift my thoughts of watching this as a narrative storytelling experience and more into like a museum installation, you know. And that's not a bad thing, but I felt like, okay, this is one of those movies where I'm just going to be trapped into this horrible thing and watch as everything gets worse and worse and just go with that.
We should mention also, because it takes place in 1890, in this small little island off the coast of New England, like everything about it just feels other and like puts you on edge and is off kilter from the very, very beginning. From like, he'll hold a shot for a long time. You see the two of them from the back on the boat that is taking them to the island, and he'll just hold that shot. And it seems like a peaceful image, but like increasingly as he just sits on it, like the sense of foreboding from the very beginning seeps in.
But that first shot, there's an early shot, you know, you see the very first shot of the movie, like you kind of see the water fade in and you see this boat coming, and then it cuts to the very bow of the ship looking at the waves. Now in some movies that could be really interesting and kind of, if not peaceful, at least exciting. It's terrifying. Like it makes it feel as if the prow of the ship going through the water is an act of violence. And it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Then you see, you know, the two of them getting onto the island and they're dragging their stuff and the two guys coming out, and there's no acknowledgement of the other crew. They're walking one way and these other guys are walking the other.
There's no conversation.
There's
like, hey, how'd it
go? Right. The other two guys are at least both carrying the same thing together, whereas our two characters that we're going to be stuck with are not, which I thought that was an interesting piece. And yeah, the not only is it the timing, and which, you know, wouldn't work in a modern setting, right? Because you'd have radios and internet and you wouldn't go quite so crazy. Or would you? But the lighting too is part of this, because it seems to be a lot of natural lighting wherever possible, which means that you get all these underlit shots from the gas lamps that they're, these little gas lanterns that'll be like on a table. Like there's one scene kind of like 2/3 of the way through the movie or where Willem Dafoe is cursing out, like he's got this long curse that he does, and I don't mean cursing like swearing. I mean like he's laying a curse on Pattinson that he goes on what feels like 5 minutes, and it is so eloquent and so beautiful, and he's underlit the whole time. And Willem Dafoe, who knows how to work that lighting, like his eyes are all bugged out, he's got the shadows coming. It's just amazing.
Yeah, although it's, you're making me kind of realize now that like it is shot. As much as it's a period film and all that stuff, the lighting does feel contemporary in a sense, as opposed to like if you watch a Guy Madden movie where he's trying to make a film that looks like a 1930s black and white film, what those light sources would look like and what those shadows would look like. This is the kind of thing that you can only do with sort of contemporary film technology, but at the same time you are capturing the past and this sort of bygone era. And so there's all these kind of different things going on at the same time,
and that puts us on edge as well, because we're not accustomed to seeing things perhaps from that perspective. Or with that kind of lighting, and then the way they talk, it's like a very old-fashioned kind of like old salt kind of way of talking.
This feels like it could be a lost Melville short story.
I feel like I've read that some of the dialogue comes with a hefty Melville influence.
Oh, interesting.
That makes sense.
And yeah, Dafoe definitely feels like he walks straight out of a Melville story. Less so with Pattinson. I felt like and maybe this is intentional, the way he speaks early on and then the way he speaks later in the film feels like his accent shifts somewhat. He later feels like he's much more New England than he does at the beginning of the film.
Well, he's a man of mystery, right?
I was going to say, that fits the character.
He's putting on who he is. He's supposed to be from Maine, and I guess eventually he kind of has like a Maine accent. But yeah, we are, I think, meant to be mistrustful of everything about both these people throughout, as well as mistrustful of the experience. As you say, you said in the beginning, Matt, like we don't know what's really happening. We don't know what's a hallucination. We don't know whether they're just losing their minds because they've been stuck there for so long.
They're not literally narrating, but they are unreliable.
Right, because you're getting a lot from the point of view of one particular character, and so that's where it kind of comes in from an unreliable narration. Now, normally I don't like a movie that pulls the rug out, but this movie, which I don't think this movie pulls the rug out at the very end, but there are things that it shows you. Was there ever a rug? Right? There's things that it shows you that then it seems to go back on. But I loved this movie. I think, technically, and the way it all comes together, the lighting and the way it's shot, the sound design is like it's all kind of over the top, right? And less so Pattinson. Dafoe is chewing scenery here like he hasn't done in years. And I'm okay with that. Like he's, this is the kind of, because it's all these close-ups and he's just like snarling and mean. And
it made me think about, and work with me on this one, Mother.
Oh.
Just in terms of the Mother makes you feel like you are trapped inside this nightmare and things don't necessarily logically make sense, but they make that sort of nightmare sense. And this movie is kind of the same thing, where it's just like you're in this bad dream that you can't quite shake, and there's things that happen that maybe aren't happening or that don't make sense, but they are happening anyway. And just that feeling of tension that the movie just more and more like there's never a moment to breathe, where just like you get buried deeper and deeper into weirdness and it doesn't let up, and it takes a skilled filmmaker to sort of manipulate you that way and make you feel that uncomfortable for an entire running time. And that was the feeling that I got from this film, especially
given the limited confined setting in which they're in, right?
Yeah. Right.
They're in the little house and they're in the actual lighthouse.
Right.
And so that, of course, affords Eggers some really cool opportunities to play with like overhead shots of, the spiral staircase going up to the lighthouse. And that's a great sense of foreboding from the very beginning.
And there's a mystery as to what about the light. There's a mystery to the light itself.
And what happened to Pattinson's predecessor?
Which I went and saw this at the ArcLight, and they had the light out in the lobby.
The light?
The light. I was like, oh no.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Don't stare too long at it.
Right? Can I go off on a weird tangent?
Oh,
never.
do.
Not on this show.
this movie made me think of a book that I had read years ago called Last Call, and it's about the story of Prohibition, because these guys get hammered.
Yeah.
And the thing that book talks about, which is it's a great book if you've never read it, because it kind of talks about Prohibition and what leads up to it and what it did and didn't do. And the takeaway is it actually, over and above like the period where liquor was illegal, it actually on average got everybody to drink less. And what we don't understand now is this book talks about prior to Prohibition, the saloon culture was this thing where people, like, you read about people getting lost to drink, right? And you don't hear about that. So, like, yeah, there's alcoholics and stuff, but getting lost to drink is the way you see these guys get that drunk in this movie. Like
psychotically blind drunk,
psychotically blind drunk to the point that like they dip into the kerosene for the lamp, right? Like,
well, Pattinson says in various interviews that he really did get that drunk sometimes and like was like subconscious, like unconscious rather, and does not recall shooting certain parts of this film.
I mean,
he says that. I mean, like, who knows if that's just part of like the hyperbolic lore and promoting a film like this.
If I'm doing a movie like this and it's like, you look at Dafoe and like, hey, are we going to get this shit faced? And he says yes. How do you say no?
Can't say no to that.
Where we're going to go with this.
Right. But along those lines, that's an interesting part of Pattinson's character's arc is that for a long time he hasn't drank.
Right.
And only on what he thinks is the final night does he finally give in and say, okay, I'll have a drink.
Yeah.
And then shit gets really, really weird. Anyway, I loved it. I'm saying 9.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's damn near perfect. I give it a 9.9.
Okay, Alonzo.
Clearly, I'm far behind. What did I even say?
7.5.
I'll say 8. I'll say 8.
Well, that makes me do math then.
What are y'all?
9.5 plus 9.9 plus 8.
Okay.
1 plus 1
it's
plus
a
3
lot.
It's a 9.2.
9.2. It's a lot. Whatever it is.
No
It's
one got my clue reference.
I got it. I was also doing math.
93% is on the tomato meter at the number where it is. So someone doesn't like it.
Yeah, go see this movie.
Anyway.
It's bananas.
Yeah, and go see it like on a big screen.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Don't watch
With a
it
full
at home on
theater
your
full of
phone.
people.
Yeah. No.
This-
You want that
right.
sound design if nothing
Right.
else.
Let's be clear. This is not like this isn't a
crowd pleaser,
harrowing drama. like this is bonkers.
It
like,
is funny. It's really funny.
No, there were a lot of laughs
It is
and like there's a lot of laughs and a lot of squirming and just like it's mind melting.
Yeah.
but also if this sounds like not my thing, it's not your thing. Like trust that instinct.
It is nutty.
Send
Yeah.
grandma.
Oh, there you go.
This is not one of those take your grandma movies. Look, grandma could be really cool.
We should've taken Nick.
Maybe grandma's cool. Nick will like this someday.
I love the idea that the hardcore Twilight people who are like keeping the faith and seeing everything, like they have been exposed to some really fascinating films.
Claire Denis
via Pattinson and Kristen Stewart in the last couple of years.
They get to know Claire Denis and the Safdies, and David Cronenberg.
Yes, and Olivier Assayas and all kinds of stuff. Anyway,
Keep doing it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like this video. Follow us on the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at BeFastAllDay. Visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We talk about TV. We talk about trailers. Sometimes we review a movie that you guys vote on, and we're doing that this week. We're talking about the Korean thriller Train to Busan. So check that out. If you've already joined, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time.